Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome back to a new video. Bit of a different video, more like kind of a raw in-depth video, but the main thing I just want to speak about today is like a really big issue that I've been seeing across like Muslim entrepreneurs, or at least the ones I've been speaking to. And that is, right, is I see these Muslim entrepreneurs, they have great ideas and they have a really good idea of like what they actually want to do, what they want to get into, what kind of problems they want to solve and stuff, but the execution is just poor. You'll see a lot of people, like most of the people I talk to in my DMs and stuff, they'll always tell me, oh, I do e-com, or I have an agency, or I growth operating or whatnot. And you look at these guys' kind of profiles and like you'll see them on like a week-to-week basis, and it's just like they don't really make that much progress at all. And it's almost like they're just not moving, okay? And that's because they are moving. The point I kind of want to make in this video, right, is that like you telling other people that, oh, I'm an agency owner or I'm a, e-com store owner, it's actually really damaging for you. Mainly because, right, you're kind of training your mind and you're training your brain that you're actually doing the right things, you're actually being productive with your time. So I'll give you a bit of an example, because the only reason why I'm speaking about this so like confidently is because I was literally in this exact position as well. So for a bit of context, for probably about a year and a half potentially, like I would tell people that I was, an agency owner, or I'd tell people that I was doing marketing, and to them they'd give me a lot of praise, right? They'd be like, wow, like you're really young, like 15 years old doing this stuff, and like upon receiving that kind of praise, it was really damaging for me because it kind of gave me this false sense of progress. It made me kind of think like, oh, I'm doing the right thing, or potentially I'm even doing better than my peers, or doing even more than I should be doing, when in actuality I wasn't. And a lot of people don't admit this. A lot of people, like, you're probably sitting on the end of this phone thinking like, oh, I'm not one of these guys, but it's very common amongst the young Muslim guys. But why is it that people just go around telling people, oh, I do e-com, or I'm agency, and I'm doing business, I'm an entrepreneur? It's all because of ego, right? People see other people similar to their age, doing what they want to be doing, okay, and they kind of feel like, oh, I can't get left behind. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of an egotistical play. It's like, to satisfy my own ego, I'm going to tell this person that I'm a business owner. I want to tell this person that I do X, to impress them. But in actuality, entrepreneurs don't care about that. Entrepreneurs are not worried about singing about, what they're doing and talking about what they're doing and whatnot. They're very humble with it. And I can't stress to you how damaging this is, okay? Because just like with the click of a finger, years can go by and you just hadn't made any progress. So the people around you, the people you've been speaking to, they think you're an agency of them. They think you're actually, being productive. You're actually doing more than them. You know what I'm saying? But internally, deep down, you know that you're not doing enough, and you know that you're not actually taking the right steps that you need to take. So how do you actually fix this, right? And this is only something I already figured out in the last like maybe year or year and a half, and that's that you just got to be ruthlessly obsessed, okay? But obsessed over what? Not obsessing over the inputs, but obsessing over the outputs. It's kind of counterintuitive, because a lot of the advice on YouTube will tell you, okay, prioritize the kind of input that you're putting in, prioritize the kind of steps that you need to take. So by input, I mean, for example, it could be post a YouTube video a day or post a reel a day or whatever. But the issue that I kind of found was that I would put these kind of input tasks on like a pedestal. So because I was getting all this praise from people around me, like, oh, you're actually doing a lot. You're actually doing a lot for your age. You're actually, at least I gave off that perception. And, I was just making the people around me think that like I'm actually doing something with my life. When it came to actually doing the tasks that I needed to do, it kind of, something in my brain just said that like, oh, like, I'm a business owner. Why should I be doing this stuff? But I putting these kind of tasks on a pedestal, it also makes it a lot harder to complete, especially then when you're getting all the praise. And really, I was like telling people that I was, doing things that I was meant to be doing, because I was telling these people that I was, had done it. I already got that dopamine from it. So when it came to time to actually doing it and actually putting it down on my task list and getting it done, I just had an analysis paralysis. I just had friction to it, because I already gave this kind of, because I already got the praise of doing it almost, or I already had the kind of mindset that I don't need to do this because I've already done it or whatnot. I was telling people that I've done it. It made me procrastinate a lot. And I was in this cycle for years, like probably just over a year now. And this is why I know it's so damaging, right? Because that year and a half, I literally could have changed my life. I could have built my whole business. I could have built a team. I could have been so much further now if I just, understood this then. So how do you actually fix this, right? And the way I kind of approach things now is I approach things in like a really obsessive way, okay? So for example, I run an agency, right? My kind of focus right now is just obsessing over fulfillment. How can I create the best product possible? How can I create it so every single person that comes in my agency goes from A to B, and just obsessing over the process in between. And I feel like this obsession of creating your product, creating your service is what's necessary, because you see like the main difference between the people like who are hyper successful and the people who are just like average and like, you know, entrepreneurs. It's the obsession. And it also could be to do with like the way they kind of see things, right? They potentially see things as their mission. They see their business as their mission, right? Whereas like, you know, young guys like us, you know, might not even have that concept yet. You get what I'm saying? Like, we just want to make money just to get the car. My advice is just obsess, okay? Whether you're an e-com store, whether you're an agency, growth operator, whatever you are, just be obsessive, okay? When you're kind of truly obsessed, right? You don't care about other people's opinions. You don't care about other people's advice. You don't care about people seeing what you're doing, okay? The only thing you kind of care about is, so don't take the word obsessed lightly, okay? I mean, you need to literally obsess over what you're doing, okay? So obsess over the fulfillment, obsess over your marketing, your YouTube videos, literally just obsess over your business, okay? And the kind of last thing I want to talk about is just switching from a more input-based way of thinking to more like output-based. So just an example of being obsessed, right? The other day I was watching a podcast with Jack Weatherford on the Lex Friedman podcast, and it was basically just talking about the life of Genghis Khan, what he did. And two things Genghis Khan obsessed about. It was one, his people, and two, it was strategy, okay? So from his obsession with the people kind of birthed the strategy, okay? So why Genghis Khan was so successful, right, is because he really cared about his people, okay? He genuinely put his people first. His kind of philosophy around things was, when you go into battle, you come back with every single man. You don't leave anyone out there. You either come back with your man or you come back with their body. No one gets left out there, okay? And just another thing as well is that he would actually fight right by his soldiers, you know? You see the world leaders today, they just sit in their offices or whatnot, sit in their homes or whatnot, whilst their kind of soldiers are fighting for them. But Genghis Khan made it apparent that he was fighting next to him. Okay, I can't remember the exact story of that part where he actually spoke about this, but it was a very, like, this was a big thing for him and a big thing for his people, right? Other things were like obsessing over the people who actually ruled over. You get what I'm saying? So when Genghis Khan actually started to rule over China, a lot of the people that he was actually coming to battle and like declaring war against, a lot of their citizens would actually just willingly join the Mongols because Genghis Khan understood that people want to be valued, okay? He kind of understood, what's it called? It's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And before this even existed, you know, Genghis Khan understood this, right? You know, people wanted to be valued. What he would do is he actually prioritized people and like gave people, so he called them artisans. He actually gave artisans, people with skills, kind of like a higher social status. So for example, even if you were like a pot maker or whatnot, like you were valued in his kind of society. And just another thing as well, what I was talking about with the strategy, right, is I didn't actually know this, but Genghis Khan's army was 100,000 people, around 100,000 people. And you see the kind of armies, or the armies that they were kind of going up against, they were like getting up to like 1 million. So how is it that these 100,000 people were conquering the whole world, conquering from east to the west? You know what I'm saying? And that comes down to one, his obsession with his people and obsession with his strategy, okay? Because he knew that the obsession with his people would get the most out of them, the most out of their soldiers, the most out of the kind of just the common people. And obsessing over the people actually led to him building these strategies, okay? Because he actually protected and preserved his people. So out of that, he kind of crafted strategies that protected them. Just an example, he kind of trained all his soldiers to be able to sew. So whether it be kind of skin patches or kind of cuts or clothes or whatnot, every single person had to know how to sew, whether it be like helping another person or helping themselves. So that's just a little one. Another example was that he used water a lot. So it wasn't very common at the time to like attack people through water. People wouldn't even think about it. And he kind of pioneered this, right? He kind of understood the importance of water and the importance of, I guess, the kind of channels that it goes through and stuff. And like they studied it and they were really kind of protective over water. Like the villages in like the Mongol times, like you weren't even allowed to have your village or even bathe in the waters. If you wanted to shower, you had to go to the water, bring the water back and shower there. If you wanted to feed your horse, you had to take your horse to the water and then bring it back. You couldn't actually reside next to it. That's because they wanted to protect and preserve this, okay? Because he knew that these kind of water channels were so important for the people. So he kind of thought about the longevity of things. And I could give you loads of examples of like how he was the leader and stuff. It's very interesting. I definitely recommend you watch that podcast. But yeah, so the point is just absolutely obsess over what matters, okay? Don't get too caught up on the inputs. Don't get too caught up in sending 30 DMs a day, posting one video a day, okay? Focus on the output, right? And this is something I'm really exploring right now because this kind of output-led mindset I only kind of developed recently, right? And it's just changed the whole game for me, right? So before, my kind of the way of thinking was very input-based. So it was send X amount of DMs, you know, record X amount of content or build X amount of SOPs, right? But now, being more of an output kind of focused way, I'm thinking more like, okay, how am I booking 1 meeting a day? How am I booking 3 meetings a day? Okay. And this allowed me to actually build systems around that to maximize my output. But if I was just focusing on the input kind of way, I wouldn't even be thinking in that mindset. So right now I'm building systems in my content/marketing, building systems in my kind of sales and my outreach outreach, and also my fulfillment. So I'm getting like a technical VA to help with like my back end. Okay. And the only reason I kind of even started thinking about building my own team and started thinking about having like leverage systems was because I started thinking in an output way. I thought to myself, okay, how can I make my agency have as much output as possible, right? And only now I'm starting to kind of realize the importance of thinking about output, right? Because if you think of a business, right, all a business is its output. So naturally you have to prioritize it. You have to obsess over it. Okay. So that's what I'll say to you guys. Okay. So whether you're an agency owner, obsess over booking calls, obsess over your marketing, obsess over your fulfillment. Okay. Whether it be you're an e-com store, obsess over your product, obsess over your marketing, obsess over your ads. Okay. You know, stuff like that, your customer journey, etc. Just be 100% obsessed and don't care about anything else. Okay. Don't care about the praise. Don't care about telling people. Don't care about talking. Just stay 100% obsessed from what's going to get you from A to B. Okay. And that for me was my marketing, was my sales, and was my fulfillment. Okay. So more of this kind of video, guys, to just obsess over your outputs. Okay. Obsess over the right things that you need to be doing. Switch your mindset from kind of like a employee kind of stuck in the business way of thinking, input-based thinking, to more, okay, how can I actually produce the most in my business? How can I actually put the most out there? And if you just focus on that 100%, you will build the best systems, the best business, the best anything as possible. Okay. And you can apply this to all your life, right? Whether you're a leader, whether you're a teacher or anything, just obsess over the things that really matter. And this will be my last point, but you see all like my competition or all the other people doing like business and stuff. I wouldn't even say they're obsessed, you know, because it's just average, right? Everyone's doing it now. You get what I'm saying? Everything's just, the baseline just getting higher and higher and higher. The people that are getting the exponential success are obsessed, okay? They're obsessed with building the best things possible. They're obsessed with building businesses. They're obsessed with providing value. They're obsessed with solving problems, okay? And that's the kind of mindset I want you guys to have and like kind of embody. So yeah, that's pretty much it of this video. Inshallah it was valuable. Just had to get off my mind. But yeah, inshallah it served you well. And if you want to connect with me, just message me on Instagram, Abs Acquisition. I'll put it there or somewhere on the screen. I'm always on my DMs, so very easy to connect with me. And if you want help scaling your agency, or you've got a brand, or you need help with your ads or whatnot, then again, shoot me a message, Abs Acquisition. And yeah, inshallah, I'll see you next time. Assalamu alaikum.